Have you ever stopped to think about the fans behind a band? What is it about the music that keeps fans coming back for more? Or is there more? My name is Renee Lipsmeyer, and I am the host of this podcast, The Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. Each week, a fellow DMB fan joins the show to discuss their journey with the band. Welcome to the Space Between Podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk exclusively about the fans of one band. If this is your very first time listening to this podcast, we talk about one band, and the one band that we talk about is the Dave Matthews Band. If you're unfamiliar with them, this is a great podcast to listen to because you're going to learn a lot of history. And here's how. Each episode of this podcast is a different fan of Dave Matthews Band telling you their journey with the band. And with the band turning 35 years old in 2026, there's a lot of history, there's a lot of stories, and there's a lot of fans. So each episode, of course, is a different fan, like I said. And so this episode is no different. I have a fan on the show to tell us his personal journey and how in the world he found Dave Matthews Band, and why in the world in 2026 are you still listening to a band that I hear often is called a band from the 90s, which it is true, but also it is a current band that never really stopped. And so, it's a crazy story. And that's, again, why this podcast is so much fun, is because we get a lot of background, and the fans have such a big story. I always say the fan story is 50% of the band, right? Because we cannot do it without the band, but the band has no success without fans, right? So it is a 50-50 story, and that's what I'm doing, is capturing this unique part of Dave Matthews Band. So let's get to it. Okay, I have a guest. Tell us, who in the world are you? Where do you live? And what do you do outside of music? Like, what's something that entertains you if we have to take music out of your life? Which we won't, and that would be terrible.
My name is Gary Wilkinson. I am from Rhode Island, and one thing without music, I like movies a lot. I like to watch movies. I guess that's
What
my
kind
other
of
thing.
movies do you gravitate to? Do you like it all, or do you like specifically like a genre?
Uh, I guess it depends. I like a lot of comedies, but I guess I like a lot of like artsy fartsy.
Give me an example.
Probably the most pretentious movie I have on my shelf is The 400 Blows by Francois Truffaut.
That's right. And as we all know, film is very much a form of art, right? So there's a rhyme and reason to the way the script was written. What is your favorite movie? Or can you nail that down?
It changes all the time,
Yeah,
it's always
of course.
different. I mean,
Yeah.
I've loved
Yeah, no,
The
I
Good,
get
the
it.
Bad, and the Ugly was my favorite movie for a while, and
Yeah.
like Pulp Fiction I loved for like many years. I probably watched that movie like more than most other movies, but
We all have that one movie, though.
I also
The one
like Dumb and
movie,
Dumber and shit like that too. So
it's
yeah,
classic. I feel like Dumb and Dumber was just part of us growing up, right? Because of the time
absolutely.
frame that it came out.
Like we grew up with them.
It was shocking. It was shocking,
Yeah.
like what Jim Carrey did. Just like we had never seen anybody come in like so whatever
awesome.
that is, I love it.
Yeah.
I loved everything that he was in, and I think most of us fell in love with him and
I'm
are
telling you,
still
like,
in love with him.
well, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, like
Yeah.
this is the world
Hell
that Dave Matthews Band like made it in. You know what I mean? It was just a wonderful time.
It is a wonderful time. So obviously we're going to talk about Dave Matthews Band. We're going to get to that, but we're going to get to know you pre-Dave Matthews Band. Who in the world were you listening to before you found Dave Matthews Band? And what time frame was this that you really remember like getting into music?
I wasn't really listening to music like that. Like my dad would always be playing like the Beatles when I was a little kid, so I always loved the Beatles. But I didn't go out and like listen to music until Dave. My older sister had Under the Table and Dreaming, and I heard her listening to like Ants Marching and stuff, and that's when I was like, music is like cool. Like I want to like listen to music, So it was Dave. I was like 9 years old, maybe.
No way.
Yeah, it was
What was
awesome.
it that
It
you
was
liked?
awesome.
Was it just because it was around you, or was there a sound that you kinda
Uh,
tuned into?
I thought it was like I thought it was so cool that they had like a violin and a saxophone and like a rock band, you know what
For
I
real.
mean?
For
Um,
real. Very
and I
different.
didn't like it's not like I knew like rock bands or anything, but like I wasn't like stupid, so like, you know, I knew that it was like usually just guitars and drums and stuff like that. So it was cool to
Right,
see
right,
like
right.
horns and violins and all that kind of stuff, especially as a little kid.
Absolutely. So did
Yeah.
you find many other friends your age that knew who Dave Matthews Band was, or was that kind of a thing that you just
I like
listened to
pushed it
at
on
home?
everybody. I sort of pushed it on everybody.
You were
I
just,
was like,
like,
dude, this is so
passing out, like
awesome.
oh my god, and did you ever find any takers, or was everybody like, "Get off of
Yeah,
me with that Dave Matthews Band"?
everybody bit. No, everybody bit, you know.
Good.
There
Good,
weren't
good. Hopefully they're still listening. So
not as
did
much
you
as
grow up
I do, but
No, 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 not as much as you did, and we're
no,
gonna get to that. So,
no.
did you grow up in Rhode Island? Has that been home for you always,
Yeah.
or
Yep,
yeah?
Lincoln, Rhode
Yeah.
Island. I moved
Lincoln,
around a little bit,
Rhode
but
Island.
it's
Never
very
been
small.
there. I
You can
hear
get from
about
my
you
house
on
to
the
the end.
often.
Yeah, yeah.
Do
It's like an
you know
hour
what the
long.
smallest state is? Yes, I do. It's Rhode Island. I know
Not a part of
several
New York.
fans of I know several fans of Matthews Band that love, love the band, and I know them, and that was, like, the thing I remembered most more than anything was, like, people from Rhode Island, like, I don't meet a lot of people from Rhode Island, and that's just because where we are geographically, there's not a lot of
Yeah.
Islanders here.
You know, we
I
don't
don't
really
think
get
anybody
too far.
transplants to
We're
Arkansas,
anchored
like,
to our state.
maybe I don't know. I'm gonna come to Rhode Island one day, though, I don't in
It's
the
alright.
fall, I think it
When
would
we
be
get the beach,
nice,
I guess.
right? Like, in the fall,
It's
and you
beautiful
have
right
all the
now,
leaves
yeah.
and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've always wanted to do, like, the coast and look at the leaves because 'cause I've heard about it my whole life, and while that happens
Mhm.
here, of course, it's not quite what I see the internet
It's like
has
a
presented itself like.
it's like a Halloween Disney movie over here when it's
It's
fall, you know, it's
yeah,
cool. Yeah.
so, so cool. So let's go back. So 9 years old, you found this music because of
Yeah.
your sister. So you just start listening to it. How do you dig deeper? What was technology at that time? Were we into tapes or was it CDs or where were we?
Both. Well, I mean, it was
Both.
CDs, but, like, I had tapes.
Yeah.
Because you had to record stuff off the radio, you needed a tape. I used to sneak into my sister's room and listen to Under the Table when she was at work
No
and stuff.
way. No way.
And then Crash came out the next year or whatever, and I asked for that on cassette. So I got a cassette of
Yeah.
Crash, and then they did the Crashing the Quarter thing to, like, promote Crash on MTV,
Yeah.
and I recorded that, and I, like, wore the tape out. Like, that was when I was like, "I wanna play guitar. I wanna be just like this guy." I'm 10, 11 years old.
So were you even playing the guitar then? When did the guitar come into play? A
Couple of
couple
years
years later,
later. Like, there were always guitars in the house because my dad played. Yeah, but, like, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing for the longest time.
you got lessons or was that something that you were able to pick up at school or
No,
like how did that work?
me and one of my closest friends, Bobby, we were, like, super into Dave, and, like, we both kinda taught ourselves how to play. I remember thinking, like, how ridiculously impossible What Would You Say was. Like, me and him were like, how do you even, like, do this?" But
Right.
we figured it out. We had, like, the guitar books and stuff. Didn't really have the internet at the time, so it was just listening and getting the music from music stores and stuff like that, trying to put
Do you think
together.
it's easier now to learn music versus trying to pick it up
Oh, yeah.
before the internet?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Way more
Yeah,
resources now. It's just like
right.
the internet alone, you know?
Yeah, no, I've definitely seen I think one time I thought I was gonna learn to play the ukulele, which newsflash, it didn't happen.
I thought
But
I
I gave
was
it a
too.
I gave it a try. I was gonna give it a try, and I got it. I got all the stuff, and I learned how to tune it, and I was like, "Hell yeah, I'm gonna be like the Jack Johnson of Arkansas. Here we go." And it just didn't happen. It's not meant
Nah,
to be. You just pick up a ukulele, and in my brain, I was like,
you just
"No
start going,
lessons
right?
needed." Like, "I think you could just play it however." That is not true. It does not it sounds, but the sounds
Yeah,
are not good.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I had
So, you
experience.
picked up some stuff on your own, and then fast forward, we know the future. We know that you are making a living doing that. So, tell us the in-betweens, like, how do you get from teaching yourself, like, along the way, were there people that jumped in and, like, "Here's a few things," or were you just like, "100%, I'm gonna figure this out," and you did, and here we are now as far as your talent goes behind the guitar?
Yeah, that's 100% self-taught. Like, nobody ever showed me anything.
Wow.
It's crazy when I think about it now, but, like,
It's
yeah,
also,
no,
like
just
it's
emulating Dave,
amazing.
watching him play and stuff, and
Wow.
but yeah, I mean, I was brought up on, like, the Beatles and Dave Matthews, and, like, these are solid musicians.
Yeah. But also, I know
Mm.
people are listening to this going, wow, first of all, that you could teach yourself to do that because we know, or there may be fans that don't know this, but Dave, the style and in the way Dave plays the guitar is not necessarily the most practical way in playing guitar. And people would say that his skills are definitely different level, but also just like different thinking in the world of how you can play the guitar.
Yeah.
And did you kind of see that in other people as they were playing the guitar going, "Oh, wow, I just play that completely different, but we have the same sound?"
Uh, yeah, yeah, we would always call them Dave chords because they were just, like, weird. They were just, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
weird. Apparently, they're
Yeah.
Robert Fripp chords because Dave was super into King Crimson, and that dude Robert Fripp plays, like, all these crazy different inversions of chords and stuff, so that's where Dave picked it up, I was told. So that's cool
Isn't that
because King Crimson's
that
pretty
is
sick.
really cool. You learned the hard way first. So if you were to later in the future go, "Okay, I'm gonna break this down and play it traditionally," it may seem a little
Oh,
dumbed down
just like
for
a bunch
you.
of chords.
That would
Yeah,
be my
yeah.
thought at
Well, you
least.
it'd be all like the it'd be all like first position chords. It would sound weird. It would sound weird. If you didn't play it weird, it would sound weird.
So at what point do you get to the point where you're like, "I feel really comfortable behind the guitar, like, I would like to maybe show somebody and maybe play in front of people." How do you get brave and feel secure enough to get in front of people because that's hard? Was that something you struggled with?
No, not really, not really. When did I play in front of people first? I guess it was like we had a variety show in our high school, and when I was a
Yeah.
freshman, I like tried out and I was in the variety show and played. We do like 3 shows or whatever for like the town. And I guess that was like my first time like performing in front of people, and I was nervous as fuck.
I
I
bet.
remember I was singing The Who song. Um, yeah, and then after that, I wanted to like be in a band, so I formed a band with my friend in high school, and we played like classic rock songs and stuff. And we wrote music too,
Awesome.
actually. We wrote music when I was in high school. It was like
That's
we called
amazing.
ourselves the Groove Pot because we like to smoke.
The groove pot, I like that. Do you have any of those notebooks where you're writing shit down? I mean, I know it's so hard to keep up with
No,
things that we
no,
write
I
down,
don't
but,
even
like,
know if I have any other recordings. That's
any
all like lost
pictures
to
or
time.
videos of that time? Because in that time frame, all that stuff was kinda like, did we have it, you know?
Yeah, it's
Did we
like
have
just the
those
start of
things?
having the internet and stuff.
I mean, how do you play the guitar and hold a big the camcorders were, like, this
Oh,
big, you
yeah,
had to
yeah,
put
yeah,
it
yeah,
on your
the tape
shoulder,
recorders.
and you're, like, going
Nope,
around
nope.
recording people. You are not playing
That
a
was, like, the
guitar
only
and
way at the
recording with one of
time.
those. You can have a tripod if you're fancy, but, like, that's pretty
Yep,
fancy.
if you had the money. We did not have the money in high
That was
school.
not the life I lived. So, I mean, you performed one time and you're like, "Damn, that was amazing. I'm gonna start a
Yeah.
band," and you just never stopped, and so what are the next steps? Like, what do you do? How long are you in the groove pot for? Like, is that just, like, high
No, it's just
school
high
and
school.
then
It was just a high school
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And then when I was out of high school, I played drums in a band for a few years. We just did all originals. We were like
So hold on just a second. When did you have time to learn the drums?
I had a drum set at my house. I just, like, had a drum set at my house, so
You just had a whole band at your house,
I had a
and you're
yeah.
just, like, picking,
We
"This week, I'm gonna learn this, and next week, this." Damn,
But that was 'cause
okay,
of
so
Dave
you
too. Well, kinda 'cause of Dave, 'cause
yeah,
Carter's
so right.
cool.
That's amazing. You could play what more than one
Spent
instrument
Yeah, well,
and sing.
I think that movie, there's a movie called That Thing You Do. I think that inspired me to play drums. It's like a movie
Oh,
about this one-hit wonder band that and the main guy plays
yeah.
drums. I was like, "I wanna play drums too." I get inspired by the crap I see.
Any other hidden instruments that you play?
Nah,
You gonna break out the flute anytime soon?
I can make a sound come out of the flute, but I can't like make a
Hey,
sound.
so can I.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go.
I will never be paid for that, but I can play it.
We could do a flute duet.
Yeah, I can play the spoons really well, but no one is paying me money for this.
Yeah, well, yeah, same. I'll be
Come
whatever for
on, if there's ever that opportunity, call me if you need a spoon player.
you.
I don't think that opportunity is
I'm
gonna
telling you,
knock on the door anytime.
it might. You never know.
You never know. Still got a long future,
Modern
hopefully.
music.
I never know. It's like a sound that everyone's been waiting for and didn't know, and they're hearing this
Yep.
going, "That's
Yep. They're
exactly
like,
what
wait,
we
what the?
need.
Wait a
Call
minute.
me.
What the fuck is that? It's so awesome.
It's the spoons, motherfucker." Okay, so let's go back to you. So I'm just envisioning, okay, you're getting out of high school, that band's over. You're like playing the drums now. What's
Yeah,
next, dude? I'm intrigued.
that was I played drums for a little while, and then that band stopped, and I was like, well, I guess I don't play music anymore. Uh,
Oh,
so I didn't play music for a couple years, and then I was like, maybe I'll play Dave. I'm gonna play some Dave. I'm just gonna play some Dave. You know,
yeah.
whatever.
Because did you go back home in that season of not playing music? Obviously, you were still listening to music, right?
Yeah. I was listening to a lot of
Yeah.
music when I wasn't playing. Yeah.
Yeah. Was some of that Dave, or was that something that you truly got away from for a couple
No,
years?
that was. Well, no, I was still pretty obsessed with Dave. This was like 2016-ish, 2017-ish. This was when like they came out with like Black and Bluebird and stuff. They played that Letterman show.
Yeah.
I think it was like the Letterman's last thing or whatever, and they had Black and Bluebird. I
Oh,
remember
yeah.
it being like, "Oh, this song is fucking awesome." So yeah, I mean, I was still listening to Dave too, but maybe not as obsessive as I was when I was younger.
But it came back. I know it did.
Yeah.
Sometimes Dave comes in waves, and I like to remind people that we are going to use the word Dave a lot, and when we say Dave on this show, we use it as a collective term. Dave Matthews Band. It's just easier to say Dave, and so for those of you
Yeah.
that are listening, I always like to go, "Hey, like we are not just calling out Dave
Right.
Matthews, like we're calling out the whole band," but it is easier when we are talking about it over and over just to say Dave. So I like to always
Right.
clarify that. So what opportunity knocked on the door those 3 years later that was like, "Okay, I guess I'm getting back into music?"
Um, I guess I just decided I felt like it. It was like time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
on I was looking on Craigslist, I guess, and somebody wanted to start a Dave tribute. So I hit him up, and we played a little Dave for a little while, and
That's
then I
awesome.
joined DMTB after that.
The first time you get on Craigslist to look for some work in music, there just happens to be a post for a tribute band of a band that you hold dearly in your heart. It was kind of like a sign. I don't know if you felt that way, but knowing the future like helps us see that like damn, that was like on the money right there waiting for me right at the right
Yeah,
time with the right music doing something I love and
yeah.
you are able to do. So you you have to answer this Craigslist ad. Now, we all hear about Craigslist now and we're like, they're the psycho killers are on Craigslist.
Mhm.
Like that's where you go to get murdered. Obviously it didn't turn out that way for you, but were you a little like who's putting this ad out? Like what are you about? Where are you at? Like how did you get an answer and what were your questions?
Oh, I was like, oh yeah, you played. It was a drummer, this guy Kyle, and he wanted to play Dave. He was in I think he was in a Fish tribute at the time, and he wanted to
Yeah.
play Dave. And I was like, oh yeah, I know Dave songs. We should play. And he was like, yeah, let's do that. So I went to his house one Sunday, I think it was, and like we just played through some Dave songs, and I was like, this is great. And we started a band. It was called the DNB Project. I think they're still playing. And they play in Rhode Island. I sent them some demos of me playing like Spoon and I can't remember what other songs, but a couple other songs.
So how did you then find Dave Matthews Tribute Band? So
Yeah, they hit me up on they saw one of the DNB Project videos on YouTube of me doing, I think it was me doing Fool to Think solo. So they asked me if I would like to try playing a show with them in New Hampshire. So I went and played, and it was awesome. And yeah, and that was it.
You're all over the country. How was it to start doing that? Because that's not a lifestyle that you necessarily knew. How was that for you?
It was kind of crazy because I'm from Rhode Island, so like a long drive for me
Right.
is an hour. An hour is like super long, or was. But then I joined up with these guys. We were driving like 7 hours. I'm driving 7 hours to Buffalo, and then another like three somewhere into Ohio. And we're doing this like all the time. I was like, what the hell is going on here? But you get used to it pretty quick, and like playing shows is fun. So
Oh,
it's always what I wanted to do.
okay. So we don't talk about this side of music, but for those that don't know, like what makes you guys successful? What do you have to have in order to be successful? I mean, ticket
Hard,
sales. Ticket sales. We've talked about that in this podcast. There's a 50-50 in a band. Percent
yeah.
of everything is the music and the bands and everything that goes on in that side of the world. And then there's the other side. If we're not showing up to see bands, they have no money to get on stage to do it for you, right? And so I know that you guys are doing really well, but also looking for growth in that department, right? The more ticket sales, the more people that come out and check you out, the more cities you guys can hit. You guys are still in a van, hauling your own
Yeah.
shit. Like you're
Yeah.
loading in, you're loading out, you're driving in, you're driving out, you're doing all the things, Gary. So
Yeah.
you guys are super busy. I don't know. When I think about all of that, that is so mind boggling because it's just a whole different side that we don't think of in the fan world. The work that you have to put in, it's a hard job. And I don't want to discount that. Being a musician, especially where you guys are right now, is a really hard job.
Yeah, especially on the longer runs, after we get home after a few weeks on the road, I'm just asleep for like 2 or 3 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
You just get
yeah. I
drained. Oh, man, it's
cannot
really the
imagine.
loading out. It's the loading out after the show.
No,
We're
I
loading
mean,
up the trailer to get ready to drive out of there.
you guys give it your all. I can say, and we'll
100.
talk about how we've met really quickly. We met, and I'm trying to think, I the very first time I ever met you, I mean, I just can't remember a time before Dave Matthews Tribute Band. Is that right? Is that how we met?
Yeah, yeah.
I think so. I think that
It was in the
it
RV
was in Springfield.
first, or me, or
Yeah.
maybe
I think
David first. I can't remember.
I think I just sent like a Facebook message to
The damn TV.
whoever checks the messages, yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
was
yeah.
just and this was in
That's
the
from David.
infancy of the podcast because I think that this is early spring 2023, and I had just started the podcast November 2022, so no one had heard of it, right? Like no one knew who anything this podcast was, and I just show up in Springfield, Missouri, and I'm like, "Hey guys, I want to interview you for this podcast that you've never heard of,"
We're
and
like,
you let
hell
me
yeah,
do
dude.
it.
We were like, this is so
You
sick,
let me
dude.
do it.
We're like, hell
You
yeah,
let me
man.
do
We're
it, and
getting interviewed.
like I look back at the that video and I mean, now I see so much growth in you guys. But yeah, that's where we
Awesome.
first met. And the one thing that I've never got to do with you that is like a goal for me in the future somewhere is to go to a Dave show with you, a Dave Matthews Band show. I know that you love the band, of course, and just why would you not? Obviously, if you're in a tribute band, you love the music. So, and the original is still playing. We're going
We're
into
still
35
around.
years. So we got to catch them while we can, right? Because at
Yeah.
35 years, we're like, how much longer are we going to go to 40? Like, are we going to 45? I don't know. Like, what's happening here?
We
So
don't
I want
know.
to
We
catch a
don't
show
know.
with
So we
you
just got to
one
keep going.
day. I want to
Yeah,
catch a
definitely.
show with you, but
Next
I know
summer.
that's got to be tricky as far as your schedule goes with just being on the road. When
Yeah.
do you find that is kind of your season, or does it change every year? Like when you can go to a Dave show?
So yeah, lately, since we've been doing this band, it's just been whatever ones I could go to, which have been Guilford in these past years because they're
Hmm.
on weekdays. But
Okay.
my home venue used to be SPAC. I used to go to SPAC every year, but I haven't been in a few years because it's always the weekend and I'm always playing
It
somewhere.
is.
So
Is SPAC is that's a really cool venue to call your home venue.
yeah,
It's magical.
another
I've only been once, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, another reason why I, like, started playing Dave was the post-SPAC depression after going to SPAC and being depressed that it was over. I was like, "Man, if we just, like, played Dave, I would have way less post-SPAC depression." So, that was another part of it.
Dave Depression is a whole real
Yeah,
thing, and
yeah.
for everybody, and for those of you that have never heard that word before, we call it Dave Depression because it's like that sad feeling that you get in your gut after the show, and you know you are probably not gonna get another show for a while, if at all, the rest of the or if ever, right? Like, it's just that
Yeah, it's
feeling
like
of being sad because you were up, you were high, you were and I'm talking about, like, in your head, you were feeling all the at a Dave Matthews
yeah,
Band show, you're feeling your best, right? Like, if you're there and then to just be, like, kinda let go really quickly, like, "Bye," and then it's over.
yeah, imagine, like, you're a little kid and
Right.
it's Christmas Day and you get all your presents, and then the next day, you don't have anything. That's the post-Dave
Exactly!
depression.
That's exactly it! It's like I
It's
had
like,
this whole
"Oh,
day
it's so
full of
awesome."
treasures and wonderful presents, and then the next day, everyone's
It's all
gone and no
gone.
one loves me anymore, like, every the
Exactly.
music is gone.
Oh, now I gotta go back to work.
Damn it!
Yep, yep.
That
Now I
may be
lost
a
my voice, I
very
gotta go to work. No
the only
Dave.
medicine for that is more Dave. So I wanna go to a show with you, so that's gonna be maybe, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
2026, we're gonna fit that in because 'cause I'm always looking to go to new venue. 2026 is 35-year anniversary, so I cannot in any way believe that there won't be something big. They can't just go through 35 years without celebrating it. Life is a tricky thing, and so celebrate we will now while we have it because who knows? Who knows what the future is? I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is Dave Matthews Tribute Band is far from being done. And I like to mention that because we're in this Dave season where there is no Dave, you guys as a band have been such a it's just like this is like my woo-woo thinking, but I'm just gonna say it. This feels like home. I don't know how to say it other than there's just that
Thank you.
feeling, the way you guys present it, and just, I don't know, everything about it, it just feels like home from the moment you get there. And so
Thank
I
you.
don't know how better to describe that
That's so nice of you to
because
say.
yes, I didn't know
I feel like
even how to phrase that,
well,
but
it's
that's what it feels
like
like.
the most important thing is to, like, channel the spirit of how you feel when you go to Dave, for me at least, when we played. So,
Yeah.
when you say it feels like
Yeah.
home, that's thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Um,
Right.
that's the way I feel. I've just felt so happy about having an opportunity to get together with the people that love the things that they love, right? Which is the sound of the music of Dave Matthews Band. And, just so many personal friends, so many new friends have found you guys. I can't stop talking about you guys because of the way I feel about you guys. And I think that you guys provide us so many more opportunities. Can you talk a little bit about what the band, like, tries to capture as far as the sound?
We're pretty much like these to early 2000s, Dave, like, we're just a five-piece unless our keyboard player is with us, Zach, and then, maybe we could get into a little more of the later 2000s stuff, but as a five-piece,
Yeah,
we keep it to, like, mostly, like, the '90s, like, that's my favorite Dave too, is, like, back in the '90s when they ruled the world, you know what I mean?
right, for sure.
And they just had that sound. They just had that sound that was freaking awesome. I don't know. I love it.
If you're listening to this, just know that you can watch this and see Gary's face. You can see my face. Watch us as we try to get through this, right? Like always making weird faces at Gary. So you can watch it on YouTube. It's simply under the Space Between podcasts. You can watch all of them. There's almost 200 episodes out. And that means almost 200 fans of Dave Matthews Band have reported their journey, their personal journey, right here for you to listen to. I'm getting the flip side story of history in this era of music. And so that's what we're doing with these stories. current Dave has a keyboard player, right? But it hasn't always been Buddy. So let's
Oh, buddy, yeah.
rewind time, and we're going to go back to 1998, and we're going to talk about the time frame from 1998 to 2008. Those are special years because there was someone that joined the band that was not part of the original. His name was Butch Taylor. If you've never heard that name before, I invite you to Google him. He's an important name that you need to know about when we're talking about the history. So we've got some few years
Right.
where it was just the original 5-piece, and that's where you guys are kind of focusing. So if we go from 91 to 98, we've got a certain sound. We've got that heavy fiddle. We're strong on that. We're developing a sound, right? And I think you guys do such a good job of like harnessing that sound. I've heard so many people in the crowd as I'm just listening to people talk because they don't know that I have a podcast and are going to say what they're saying. They don't have a clue that I'm listening, right? But what I'm hearing is just these awesome things of like, oh, I can just close my eyes and I am back to college, or I can close my eyes and it's just like I've been transported back in time. And that is everything one could want to hear, is that you're giving them that sense of youth maybe, or
Yeah,
that
you're right.
sense of just whatever was happening. Like you're giving them a genuine feeling. What a great opportunity to go and at least hear what it kind of sounded like, because yes, we have all of the live stuff recorded, but this is to actually physically be in the room and to hear it. Is just, we all know it's so very different. So what a great way to hear the original sounds of this band. I think it's so cool to dig into the history of this band because there's just so much, and it has really changed so much in 35 years. As everything, we're completely different than we were 35 years ago. I was 11 again. We are fans that were just not there from the beginning because time was not on our side, right? And there are still so many fans that have just not had time on their side, and they're now finding the music. I met a guy that now loves The Gorge. The Gorge was his very first show, and he had just found the band
Yeah.
3 years ago. 3 years ago, and went to The Gorge for the very first time to ever see them, hear them live. And he is all in now, all in. Tries to see them as much as possible, listen to them, and he loves it because it's such a rabbit hole, right? Like once you're
Oh, yeah.
in, if you want to know a little bit more, there are tunnels everywhere that you can go down
Yeah.
and just learn so much more than you want to. And unless you just like that stuff, there's just so much out there. And
Oh, yeah.
the fans, they study their shit. They know. I mean, they know their stuff. So I think that, like I said, I think what you're doing is so incredibly smart and honestly so incredibly important. And here's why. Again, just the documenting this time, right? And that is essentially, in a way, what you guys are continuing to do in a different way, but you're documenting that time. That's what a tribute is, right? You're documenting a certain time period in a band's life, and that's exactly what you guys are doing. And so thank you so much
Trying
for
to.
being willing to share your talents with us, because it is making a difference, whether you whether you've ever thought about that or
Thanks
not.
for
Like it's
watching.
really making a difference in people's lives. You're giving them some good feelings when they need those good feelings, because we know music has that power to just lift us up when we're down. And you guys are providing that source
No,
of
thank you.
strength. And so thank you so much for what you do. And thank you so much for just being willing to hop on here. And I hope you found a little comfortability in knowing, like, okay, well, at least I know her, because most people get on the show and they have never met me or ever talked to me. So
Right.
that can be, but you did great.
Yeah,
We already knew each
we're
other.
already boys, so
Yes. So thank you so much. And guys, if you want to check out
thanks for
Dave
having me.
Matthews Tribute Band, you have got to just simply go to the dmtb.com. You're going to find links to their upcoming tour, their current tour, because you guys are still on the road. You're basically on the road forever
Yes,
more.
yep.
That you might get a few days off in between, but like pretty much forever, you're going to find them
Yeah.
somewhere in the United States. Hey, and they've played outside of the United States, because guess what? If you didn't know this, like you can actually hire them to do a gig. So if you've ever dreamed of having Dave Matthews Band at your house, but you can't afford them, like, because I think it costs in the millions of dollars to even maybe get one. I don't even know about the whole band.
Yeah, right.
You can book the Dave Matthews Tribute Band, and they will reminisce with you in your backyard, the early days of Dave Matthews Band, and it will be a lot cheaper than millions of dollars. So, hey, give them a call. Look at their website, man. Call them. They're ready to go wherever. Y'all got to go to somewhere pretty cool. Where did you get to go?
St. Bart's.
Who
The
turns
place
that
there
down? You're
on
like, oh,
St.
I'll
Bart's,
be
like, on
there
the beach, it was
tomorrow.
insane. Yeah.
Yes, we want to be there to help you celebrate your anniversary. Do you want to give your wife, the best gift?
She's a Dave
Call Dave
fan.
Matthews Tribute Band.
She doesn't think
Hook
I
them
suck.
up,
It'll be
guys.
awesome.
It's all about the ticket sales. It's all about the ticket sales. But also,
Just gotta
Gary,
mention
just
it,
thank
okay.
you so much. Yes, yes.
Well, thanks for having
Let's
me.
buy some tickets. You guys have a lot of things coming up. So stay tuned. Be sure to like them on
Right.
all the socials. They can be found everywhere. I know that you guys are also starting up. You've been on TikTok, you've been on Snapchat, you've been all of those things. They've been a little dormant. So I know y'all are kicking those up. So be sure to hit up all their socials because
Yeah?
there's different things on all of
I
the
don't know.
socials. And next time you're at a show, tell Gary, hey, man, I know about you because I saw
Let's say
you on the Space Between podcast. Gary wants to know this. Definitely walk up to him, say, "Hey, I heard about you guys from the show, and just that's my bro. That's my bro, man. So you got to tell my bro hi if you're there and you're listening to the show, right? It's how this works."
Yep.
Gary, thank you so much, guys.
Right
Again,
on.
if you're listening to this on any podcast app, just know that you can watch this on YouTube, just simply under the Space Between podcast. And while you're there, subscribe to the channel. That's going to give you a notification every time a new episode comes out. And you can do the very same thing on your podcast app, just simply by leaving a review. You can give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars to this podcast and just tell us, hey, what do you like about the show? Until the next time, peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band.